Might we someday learn to communicate with our pets through ESP? The In Search of cameras turn to these questions next. The possibility that animals can perceive their world through extrasensory means leads to further questions. Can they influence their world through psychokinesis, mind over matter? Could an animal with primitive mental ability, such as a fish, exert an influence on its environment? Current research suggests this may be so. At the Mind Science Foundation in San Antonio, Texas, Dr. William Broad conducts an experiment to determine if a Siamese fighting fish can alter the conditions in its tank. The male Siamese fighting fish is extremely aggressive. It displays hostile behavior to other males, and even to its own reflection in a mirror. Given the choice, it will seek out a male to challenge. To study the effects of this aggressive desire, Dr. Broad has designed a special aquarium. Along one side is a mirror that is only visible to the fish at irregular intervals, selected at random by a special generator. To determine when the mirror will be visible, the generator uses the same random principle as flipping a coin. Through many trials, the mirror should appear exactly half the time. Yet, when the fighting fish is placed in the special tank, a consistent and startling change takes place. The mirror begins to appear more than half the time. Could the fish and its desire to fight cause a change in the random operation of the generator?
The fish seemed to influence the random generator. That is, after about 3,400 trials, the machine started generating more mirror trials than you would expect by chance. But if you take the fish out, that effect goes away. And the most simple explanation of that is that the fish is somehow influencing that generator, although there's no physical connection between the two. That is, some kind of psychokinetic influence is being displayed here. In human beings, for example, there's considerable research that indicates that persons can mentally influence a variety of systems, living systems, inanimate systems, small ones, large ones, simply by imagining or intending for certain outcomes to occur. And apparently the same thing is occurring in the Siamese fighting fish in this experiment.
Dr. Broad is also searching to discover what extrasensory link there may be between animal and man. His subjects have had success influencing the behavior of a mouse-like gerbil without even being in the same room.
A lot of us feel a special closeness with animals, a kind of connectedness that goes beyond the usual kinds of relationships with animals. And what the data of parapsychology is suggesting is that this feeling of connectedness, or this fact of connectedness, may be much more general, that we are, in fact, intimately connected with other human beings, with animals, with all aspects of nature.
Parapsychologists aren't certain what this intimate connection may be. There is a theory that the unintentional psychic abilities of the researchers affect the outcome of every experiment. So it's not yet possible to isolate and prove animal ESP. In Cincinnati, a veterinarian finds the concept vitally important in his practice. Veterinary science is one of the most difficult fields of medicine, for the doctor cannot communicate with the patient.
What happened to this little fellow? Did he...
Dr. Marvin Kane is a former veterinarian of the Cincinnati Zoo and has practiced for 23 years. He welcomes the most difficult cases.
Well, 5 days ago, you presented your dog, completely paralyzed, no feeling. We've treated him, we've taken x-rays, myelograms, and there's no definite disturbance of the vertebrae. He has responded to a point, but yet there is no realization of where his legs and feet are.
Having studied in China, Dr. Kane now teaches acupuncture to other vets and continues his search for new ways to relieve animals' suffering. One of his greatest allies is a consultant whom he feels has the gift of communicating with animals through ESP. She's Beatrice Leidecker of Los Angeles.
I like to think of myself as a diagnostic tool to a veterinarian, because an animal can't say where it hurts, but he hurts. And the vets many times say, I know the animal's sick, but I can't pinpoint it. When I first met Dr. Kane, he was skeptical. He wanted some proof, which I couldn't blame him.
Now, after having been stimulated by the possibility that someone could indeed look into and perceive an animal's body and mind, this opened up a new possibility of diagnosis for me, and I decided to test Miss Lydecker and take x-rays of a known diagnostic patient and see whether or not she would come up with the same solution that I did.